Right after singing happy birthday at my birthday party, my best friend suddenly announced, as a token of his sincerity, our school's biggest heartthrob has specially prepared a surprise for Luna, the Michael family's ancestral silver bracelet. Hearing the word ancestral, my friends got all excited and started cheering. I was excited too, but unlike the happiness of my past life, seeing that silver bracelet giving off an eerie glow, I clenched my fists tightly, realizing I had been reborn. Luna, let me put it on for you. My boyfriend, Ethan, didn't notice anything strange about me. Amidst the cheering, he reached out to put the silver bracelet on me. Thinking of everything those two had planned in my past life, I quickly pulled my hand back. Clang. A wine glass shattered. The lively atmosphere instantly went quiet. My boyfriend looked at me suspiciously. What's wrong, baby? My best friend was live streaming on her phone. She suddenly aimed the camera at my face and said in a sour, jealous, and slightly disdainful tone, Luna, Ethan is so handsome, but he just happens to like you. Are you perhaps looking down on his gift? In my past life, I only thought Jenny had a crush on Ethan, but I had no idea they were already in cahoots. Today she was supposedly celebrating my birthday, but in reality, she and Ethan were working together to set me up. If I had said yes, I would have been labeled as someone who only cares about money and social status, and would be despised by everyone online. And once I did as they wished, I would be completely stripped of my wealth, health, and youth. Thinking this, I felt playful. I smiled slightly at Jenny. Of course not. I just think we've only been dating for a month, and he's already giving me an heirloom. It's a bit too much. Hearing my explanation, Jenny was so jealous her eyes were about to bleed. Ethan, on the other hand, was visibly relieved. Baby, you always feel self-conscious because you're overweight. But I've said, I like you for who you are. I thought for a long time before deciding to give you a silver bracelet as a gift. It might seem a bit basic, but it's very meaningful. By the end of his speech, Ethan cautiously said, baby, unless you really think, like Jenny says, that the gift is cheap. It was like this in my past life too. I instinctively resisted this bracelet that emitted an eerie glow. But on one side was Jenny being aggressive, and on the other was Ethan using emotional manipulation. Under pressure, I could only accept the bracelet. This time, with everyone watching, I sneered. Just like in my past life, I quickly took the bracelet. The difference was, under their relieved gaze, I quickly put the bracelet on my own hand. Why did you put it on my hand? Jenny shrieked. She looked like she had touched something terrifying and deadly. Her body stiffened, and she frantically tried to take off the bracelet. As she did this, she didn't forget to curse at me, you fatso. How dare you put something so creepy on my hand? You're going to get me killed. I sneered in my heart. So, it's only when the knife is on your own skin that you feel the pain. In my past life, even when I was paralyzed, Jenny thought I had been in a car accident, which showed that Ethan didn't fully trust her. But he knew that this bracelet could steal a person's good fortune. Yet he still helped Ethan harm me. Now I'm just scaring her a little, and she's already pale as a ghost. She even forgot that the bracelet's curse only takes effect when a wish is fulfilled. I slowly admired the green bracelet on my left hand, then carefully admired the even clearer white jade bracelet on my right hand. Don't you always say your hand feels empty, and you want to borrow my bracelet for a few days? I'm just doing you a favor today, returning the favor. Besides, when you use my skincare products without my permission and go through my bag, do you ever ask me? How is it that good friends don't keep things from each other? You were the one who said that. Before, my family and Jenny's family were about the same financially. But after my family's property was demolished a few years ago, and we got tens of millions, and my dad also made a few $100 million from business, Jenny started treating me differently. I thought she was just being mean-spirited, but I didn't expect her to truly want me dead. Jenny was so scared she lost her mind. She slammed the bracelet down on the table. Luna, don't slander me. I'm not a moocher like you. I'm an independent modern woman. Ethan, who had come back to his senses, rushed over angrily. Luna, what are you doing? He quickly picked up the bracelet from the table. carefully examining it. Seeing that it wasn't damaged, he warned me sternly, I know you and Jenny have a good relationship, but if you give away my things randomly, I'll be mad. Back then, I didn't realize that the reason Ethan was interested in a girl like me, who was overweight, was because he found out my family was rich. Compared to me, Jenny, whose family was average, was not his first choice. I used to be most afraid of Ethan getting angry. Now seeing me just staring at him and not talking back, Ethan thought he had me where he wanted me and looked triumphant. He put the bracelet on my hand. He said with a mischievous smile, "Baby, you haven't made a birthday wish yet. Hurry up and wish for $100 million in the lottery. Our family's silver bracelet is a treasure magnet." I scoffed. I pretended to put my hands together and make a wish. As soon as I opened my eyes, before I could blow out the candles, Ethan grabbed my shoulders with both hands, anxiously pressing, "Well, baby, did you wish to win 100 million? I giggled, "Of course not. Why would I wish for 100 million on my birthday?" Ethan was surprised that I hadn't followed his suggestion. After a 3-second pause, he slammed the table hard, stood up abruptly, and roared at me in a voice that was almost a scream, "Luna, you're such a stupid idiot. Do you know what you've messed?" Because of his sudden movement, everyone around was stunned. "Ethan, are you crazy? What are you freaking out about?" Seeing him so agitated, I slowly blew out the candles. I not only smiled at him, but also playfully winked. "Honey, if your family's silver bracelet can attract wealth, how can 100 million be enough? Of course, I want to win 1 billion. I won 1 billion? Seeing me giggle, Ethan was stunned. The expression on his face changed from anger to surprise, and finally to greed and great joy. Hearing everyone still criticizing him, Ethan seemed to remember what he had just said. He quickly sat down, apologizing to me. "Baby, I was wrong. I was too excited just now. Don't take it to heart." Of course, I wouldn't take it to heart. After all, I didn't want his apology. I wanted his life. After my birthday, I found a woman with her lower body amputated in a corner of a dumpster. She was covered in fleas. She looked at me with pleading eyes. "Can you give me $1? Or some food?" My lips curved up in a smile. "I can give you a chance at a new life. Do you want it?" After finishing the work I had on hand, the first thing I did was rush home to find my dad. My dad saw me and was clearly surprised. "Isn't today a work day? Why are you free to come back?" After my dad received the relocation payment, he leased an orchard in our hometown. Jenny's father was in charge of purchasing the pesticides for pest control. In my past life, even when everyone else didn't believe me, my dad just waved his hand and said he'd support me. But just when I thought that even without my health and youth, at least I could help my dad manage the orchard, the day after I came home, all the fruit saplings died. It turned out Mr. Jenny took kickbacks and bought fake pesticides. Not only that, he deliberately spread rumors to ruin my family's business, so that his own partnered orchard could monopolize the market. As a result, my dad's hair turned white overnight. He was driven to suicide by the workers and the loan company. Thinking of this, I quickly told my dad to thoroughly check the accounts. I also found someone trustworthy to check the pesticides. In addition, my dad and I stayed up all night. We checked the growth of the fruit saplings and so on. 3 days have passed since all the busy work. Fortunately, everything is still in time. Although Mr. Jenny has a contract, he is still waiting for my dad's signature. My dad broke out in a cold sweat. He immediately reported it to the police, and I finally slept soundly. When I woke up, I had dozens of missed calls on my phone, and a pile of messages from Ethan. "Baby, did you buy a lottery ticket on your birthday night? If you won, be sure to tell me. Baby, I went to look at villas in the city these past few days. Which set looks more imposing? Baby, this Tesla is pretty good. What do you think?" Looking at the endless stream of photos of villas and luxury cars, I raised my eyebrows. I looked at Ethan's profile picture, with the gaze of someone looking at a simpleton. I replied to him, "Are you sure this Tesla is over $1 million yuan?" He immediately replied yes. "Although it's only the mid-range model, it's good enough." After saying that, he quickly sent me photos of the documents. Baby, if you buy a car, remember to put my name on it. Driving is risky. I'll take on that risk. I suppressed my nausea. Your current monthly salary is 5,000 yuan. Subtracting gas money. You probably can't even support yourself, can you? Ethan shamelessly said, but I have you now, don't I? Baby, when you win $1 billion, will our family still be short of this money? Besides, Jenny told me, your dad bought you a 500,000 yuan BMW. I'm a man. I can't drive a car that's worse than yours, can I? I was shocked by his shamelessness. Why don't you ask your dad to buy it for you? The other side showed typing. 3 minutes passed. Ethan was upset. Baby, I have to say, was it easy for my parents to raise me? How can I rely on my parents? But you're different. You're an only child. Your dad's money will be yours in the future anyway. How about we let our dad prepare our wedding home in advance? After saying that, he found the first villa photo and said, I think this set is pretty good. It's not expensive, only 100 million yuan. You can just put my name on it. Otherwise, it'll be troublesome to inspect the house and get the keys later. I'll feel bad if you have to do all that. I couldn't help but roll my eyes. You're really something. I didn't reply to Ethan's messages, but he bought various lottery tickets online in my name. He also kept calling me, telling me to watch the lottery draw on time. Perhaps he sensed I was unhappy, so he apologized to me again. Baby, I just want to have a home with you so badly. I want to marry you as soon as possible. If you're worried about putting names on the house and car, you can just put the money in your bank account first. Remember, put it in a bank account under your name. It's good for a girl to have more savings, right, baby? In my past life, I didn't go home after my birthday, so I never saw this side of Ethan. Now he was constantly encouraging me to make money. This was him laying the groundwork for buying luxury cars and pursuing women. Of course, I couldn't let him have his way. I simply quit my job directly and bought exercise equipment. I worked out at home every day. In addition, I also created an account online to help my dad sell fruit. In my past life, the reason I was deceived by Ethan was not only because he and Jenny colluded, but more importantly, because I lacked self-confidence, which led to me being blinded by love and being led by the nose by a jerk. Now heaven has given me a chance to make amends. I must improve myself from the inside out. Just like that, when I had successfully lost 10 pounds, Ethan suddenly called me in the middle of the night. I turned on sleep mode and ignored it. The next morning, just as it was getting light, Jenny, who had driven 100 kilometers to rush back home, angrily came to my house and hammered on the door. Luna, why did you quit your job just like that? Don't you know Michael's family is in trouble? He's going crazy trying to find you. I rubbed my sleepy eyes and lazily yawned. His family is in trouble, so why is he looking for me? I'm not his mother. Jenny choked. She pointed at me with her finger. She stammered you for a long time. Just then, Ethan's phone rang again. Under Jenny's fierce gaze, I had no choice but to answer. Ethan's voice was anxious. Luna, where are you? Do you know my sister's condition has worsened? And I can't find you. I'm going crazy. The doctor said. Her leg has suddenly rotted and grown hair, for some reason. She needs an amputation. The surgery requires 200,000 yuan. Luna, my sister and I really need you. Can you come to the hospital? If it were in the past, I might have rushed over immediately. But now I slowly took a sip of water. Your sister's condition has worsened? Find a doctor. Why are you looking for me? Besides, that's your sister. She's no relation to me. Do you expect me to pay 200,000 yuan? He didn't expect me to be so blunt. Ethan choked. But Jenny, the pure love warrior, couldn't stand it anymore. She suddenly rushed forward, grabbed my phone. Luna, your future sister-in-law is sick. But you're here making sarcastic remarks? Do you have any conscience? I don't care. I'm taking you to the hospital today. Okay. I had planned to go see the outcome of Ethan's sister, Grace. Since that's the case, I might as well use this opportunity to see the first results of my plan. When I got to the hospital, Grace was just being wheeled out of the operating room. Her face was pale. Seeing me, she first rolled her eyes at me, then glanced behind me, confirming that I had only come in person and was empty-handed. Grace said in a sharp, sarcastic voice, "TCH. You really just showed up yourself, huh? Some people not only don't help those in need, but they don't even bring gifts when they visit a patient. What a shameless skinflint." The reason Ethan and I were together was because I happened to run into Grace, sitting in a wheelchair and fainting on the street. At that time, I quickly called 911 and even stayed with her at the hospital. I even paid 10,000 yuan for her hospitalization fee. But my kindness didn't earn me Grace's gratitude. On the contrary, in my past life, when I suffered a major setback and called Ethan dozens of times but couldn't find him, I finally found Grace. I begged her, pleading with her, in return for saving her life, to tell me where Ethan was. But she repaid kindness with malice and had her chihuahua bite me. I watched myself sitting in a wheelchair, desperately waving my hands, but still couldn't stop the chihuahua from biting my numb legs, bite after bite. I cried out in despair. Grace, on the other hand, stood aside, laughing like a goose. That's so funny. Ha ha, Luna. Isn't this feeling of helplessness wonderful? You saved me back then, didn't you? Hoping I'd be eternally grateful to you? How about this? Do you like this way I'm showing gratitude? Ignoring the pain in my hand, I desperately choked the chihuahua and yelled fiercely at her. Grace, if I hadn't called 911 in time, the doctor said you would have had your leg amputated. You treat me like this. Aren't you afraid of retribution? Grace kicked the chihuahua away, muttering useless. Afterward, she stood over me, arms crossed, looking down at me. Retribution? That's our family's ancestral silver bracelet. Once it takes effect, it can't be reversed. You want revenge on me? You want me to be paralyzed and have my leg amputated? Nope, nope, nope. Wait until your next life. Grace made a face at me, her face full of arrogance and defiance. Thinking of this, looking at Grace's sharp and mean face, I deliberately turned sideways so she could see my long, firm, and healthy legs from working out. Oh, I'm so sorry. All my money was used to buy exercise equipment. Grace, it's good that you had your leg amputated. At least you can save a lot of money on fitness now, right, Grace? Grace went crazy with anger. She yelled at Ethan, brother. Why are her legs fine? Why aren't her legs amputated? Didn't you say the curse would take effect? I pretended to be confused, staring at Ethan and asking, curse? What curse? Ethan panicked. He quickly told the caretaker to wheel Grace away and started to try and smooth things over with me. Baby, my sister is just saying crazy things because she can't handle the stress. After all, the doctor said before that her leg had a good chance of recovering. But who knew it would grow hair and rot? And even get so bad it had to be amputated? After saying that, he looked at me up and down. He looked me over. Baby, you look a little different. I haven't seen you in 2 weeks. I took a deep breath. Yeah. I don't know why my hair is getting whiter, and my body is feeling weak. That's why I decided to start working out. As soon as I said that, Ethan's face immediately lost its doubt. He was so happy his mouth almost couldn't stay closed. His tone was urgent. You're serious? I took off my wig, revealing the gray hair I had just dyed a few days ago. Ethan blurted out, that's great. What about the lottery tickets? Perhaps realizing his reaction was inappropriate, he cleared his throat awkwardly. Baby, I mean, it's really great that you started working out. What about the lottery tickets? How much did you win? I took out my phone and opened the app one had prepared beforehand. See, 10,000 yuan. What? 10,000 yuan. Ethan thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. He snatched my phone and frantically searched for the latest winning numbers. After all that, half an hour had passed. His voice was tinged with tears. I spent more than 10,000 yuan buying these lottery tickets. After saying that, he looked at me again. Luna, did you really wish to win 1 billion yuan that night? I hadn't made a wish that night at all. But that didn't stop me from telling a white lie. Of course. It's just a matter of moving your lips. Who can't daydream? Ethan glanced at my gray hair, as if he had found some comfort. Never mind. I remember there's still one lottery ticket, and it will be drawn in 2 days. Maybe the 1 billion is there." After saying that, he carefully put away the lottery ticket. "Baby, when you win 1 billion, I'll have luxury cars and villas. My sister's leg will also be saved." Ethan looked at me as if I were a savior. I sneered in my heart. "I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you, since I quit my job suddenly last time. This time, I specifically went to my friend's company the next day to handle the resignation procedures. While riding the elevator, I saw a post on social media asking for help. It suddenly grew today. What is this?" In the photo, there were several ugly scars on a young man's chest. I recognized immediately that this was Ethan's alternate account. It looked like, after the old beggar and Grace exchanged health, he was going to start preying on Ethan's youth. Someone replied below, "This looks like aging. Did you do something bad recently, OP?" The help-seeking post was quickly deleted. Within minutes, I received a message from Ethan. "Baby, how about the car and the house I told you about last time? How are you looking into them? I heard you're going back to the company to do paperwork today, so I'm waiting for you downstairs at your company." It was a very sunny day. He deliberately chose the sunniest spot to post on social media. "Wife is busy working. I'm busy missing her." Using the birthday party last time as an excuse, he added a lot of my friends. Soon, his social media post received a lot of likes. "He's such a good man. His girlfriend is so lucky." I sneered. In the past, I asked him to pick me up from work, but he said I was too fat and made excuses not to come. Now that I've lost weight and become pretty, he wants to take another $1 billion from me. He wants to completely drain me of my money and my life. Just as I was thinking about how to get him to take the bait, suddenly, a unique reply popped up in the comment section. "On such a hot day, you're making your boyfriend sit downstairs? Luna, how could you be so inconsiderate?" When I saw this, I thought, oh boy, isn't this Jenny, who brought me to the hospital yesterday, and then left after a phone call? It really took no effort at all. See, the fish took the bait on its own. I was just editing a message for Jenny when her text message came in full of urgency. "Luna, I think your whole family's conscience has been eaten by dogs. My dad works hard and faithfully for your family, and your dad actually accused my dad of embezzlement? Michael is so good to you, and you don't even buy him a cup of coffee? Doesn't your and your dad's conscience hurt? In my past life, after my family went bankrupt, Jenny was carrying designer bags left and right. I don't believe for a second that she didn't know about the shady things her dad was doing. As for Ethan, how good was he to me? Was he good in a way that stole everything from me and made my life worse than death?" I replied airily. "So, what are you trying to say?" Jenny looked like she was fighting against the forces of darkness for true love. "Luna, you betrayed our friendship. Since that's the case, don't blame me for being ruthless. Now I officially declare war on you. I'm going to steal Michael." I replied cooperatively. "What? Are you saying you and Michael?" Jenny was triumphant. "You don't know yet, do you? I've liked Michael for a long time. If it wasn't for your few stinky bucks, do you think Michael would have taken a liking to you? My dad told me a long time ago, your family's orchard is in trouble. The fruit will rot on the ground soon. If your lottery ticket doesn't win either, I don't believe Michael will still refuse me because of you." Jenny's stupidity really shocked me. She knew Michael was with me for the money, yet she still deluded herself into thinking such a person could have genuine feelings. Seeing that I didn't reply, Jenny sent me another screenshot. In the screenshot, she transferred 500 yuan to Michael, telling him to find a cool coffee shop to sit in. Michael didn't refuse, and immediately clicked receive. Jenny was gloating. "See? Michael has feelings for me. You should be sensible and back out." Phooey. Ethan had feelings for money. But at this moment, I desperately needed an excuse to leave. I was just about to break up with him when the security guard called and said Ethan was causing a scene downstairs, demanding to see me. When I got to the company entrance, I saw Ethan's distraught and staggering figure. Seeing me walk towards him, his voice even carried a hint of fear. "Luna, the hospital just called me. They said Grace she's dead." Jenny arrived at the hospital ahead of me. Seeing my gray hair and worn-out clothes, a flicker of smugness flashed in her eyes, then she snorted coldly. Luna, it's all because you weren't willing to pay 200,000 yuan. That Grace died. After hearing the security guard say that Ethan was going crazy, I specifically borrowed a faded shirt from a cleaning lady. I also quickly put on a tired-looking makeup. I pretended to be bewildered. Jenny, what are you talking about? My family's orchard is having problems, and I quit my job. I don't have a job. How could I come up with 200,000 yuan? In the hospital, Jenny was dressed brightly, while I looked like a 40-year-old countrywoman. Ethan's mom walked over at this moment. She didn't even glance at me. Her gaze stopped directly on Jenny. Are you Michael's girlfriend? Jenny's eyes lit up. She looked at me provocatively, then grabbed Mrs. Michael's arm and said solicitously, Auntie, please accept my condolences. If you need anything, just ask. Ethan straightened his shirt collar, covering the wrinkled and sagging skin. All right, let's go see Grace first. In the morgue, Grace's eyes were sunken, and her hair was dry and brittle like straw. We had only been apart for a day, but her body was withered, as if her essence had been sucked out. Mrs. Michael muttered. The doctor said her case is unprecedented. No one knows why. They said she was recovering well, but she woke up overnight like this. If you ask me, it's good that Grace died. A person who repays kindness with ingratitude like her is just a disaster to have in this world. But I had to act solemn. I even shed 2 tears of joy. Although all of this was orchestrated by me, because when I gave the silver bracelet to the beggar, I told him the bracelet could make him return to 23 years old. At that time, he would be young and healthy, and have a chance to start over. However, for a 60 or 70-year-old old beggar who was amputated and sick to return to 23 years old, the backlash from this was enough to wipe out Ethan and his family of 3. To show off, Jenny was busy handling Grace's funeral, while I was at the corner of the hallway, overhearing Ethan and his mom arguing. What? You said you wanted wealth? But you clearly told me you wanted youth, and that you wanted to be with that young man. Oh son, don't be angry. Compared to youth and money, money is what keeps a man's heart. In my past life, I found out from Mrs. Michael that the so-called wealth, health, and youth depended on how much the Michael family craved those things. And the reason Mrs. Michael wanted youth was because she had a crush on a man in his 40s, but the older man preferred youth. After I was reborn, I immediately infiltrated Mrs. Michael's social circle and brainwashed her, telling her that money was more reliable than youth. Ethan slammed his fist hard against the wall. He was furious. No wonder the skin on my body is sagging. Was it the backlash from that broken bracelet that stole my youth? Mrs. Michael saw her son's ashen skin and backed away repeatedly in fear. Grace. Could she have died from the backlash of her health? Ethan seemed to remember something. He suddenly threw the lottery tickets he had previously treasured hard onto the ground. To vent his anger, he stomped on them hard with his shoes a few times. What kind of ancestral bracelet is this? What kind of winning a billion is this? I think that bracelet is just a jinx. You should find a master to break the curse quickly. Mrs. Michael's legs went weak from fear. She fell to the ground, as if thinking of something. She quickly pulled out her phone from her pocket. When she saw the numbers on the screen, her lips trembled. Her face was pale. It's over. I only have 30 cents left in my bank account. I don't want to live. But Ethan was still not reconciled. He grabbed his mom by the collar. You old hag. I'm asking you, how can we break the curse? Mrs. Michael's eyes were vacant. Warm tears stained her aged skin. How would I know? I didn't even know the bracelet had any effect. Everything I told you before was just based on hearsay. Ethan's hand loosened. He felt like his soul had been sucked out. He fell to the ground in despair. Just then, the crisp sound of high heels came from the hallway. Mrs. Michael's eyes darted around, as if she had grabbed a life-saving straw. Son, didn't you say your girlfriend has money? We can rely on her. Ethan frowned. Clearly his first thought was me. Mrs. Michael's tears turned to laughter. I think your girlfriend is wearing expensive clothes and accessories. Didn't she say to find her if you needed anything? We're short on money, and she has money. Isn't that a perfect match? Only then did Ethan realize. His mom was talking about Jenny. The despair on his face instantly eased. You're right. I know what to do. I thought Ethan would break up with me. I didn't expect him to propose marriage. I looked at him in surprise, thinking I had misheard. Michael, are you crazy? It wasn't me who said that. It was Jenny. Under the guise of thanking her for her past concern for Grace, Mrs. Michael invited Jenny and me to dinner. At the table for 4, Mrs. Michael said with a smile, "Oh Luna, since Grace is gone, I only have Michael as my son left, so I want him to settle down early, to have children for the Michael family." After saying that, she glanced at Jenny again. I know you and Luna are best friends, but our family doesn't have much money for a dowry, so I want to ask you to talk to her. Because our family can only afford 8,800 yuan for the dowry. What? 8,800 yuan? Although I wanted Ethan to die as far away as possible, he could actually say something like 8,800 yuan. I couldn't help but get angry and stood up directly. Jenny was also a little confused, but seeing my intense reaction, she seized the opportunity to make me uncomfortable. She quickly calmed down. Seeing me upset, she said with a smile, "Auntie, don't say that. Giving a dowry and bride price is outdated. As a new generation of women, we should marry for love, not for money." Saying this, she looked at me contemptuously. "Luna, your family's fruit is being given away for free. Now you're worried about making a living, and your hair has turned white. Don't you think you, someone with nothing, are still worthy of Michael?" Hearing Jenny say that, Mrs. Michael and Ethan exchanged glances. I instantly understood. Those two things were using their son as a bargaining chip to make Jenny and me bid against each other. Of course, I wouldn't fall for his trap. Otherwise, it would be pointless for my dad to pretend that his business wasn't doing well. Jenny was jealous of my family's wealth, wasn't she? Didn't she see Ethan as her first love? I'll just step aside. A gentleman doesn't stand in a dangerous place to deal with these two desperados. I continued to show weakness. I clenched my fists tightly. My body trembled with emotion. "Michael, although I don't have money, and I'm not pretty, you're still in my heart." Jenny waved her hand. "Michael, as long as you marry me. When you marry me, the house under my name will have your name added to it. And I don't need a single penny for the bride price. My dad promised to buy me a BMW X5. And I'll give it to you." At the table, Mrs. Michael's mouth was watering. Ethan was desperately hiding the dead skin on his wrist, afraid we would see it. And I could only pretend to cry hysterically, while also sadly running out of the restaurant. In the afternoon, Jenny posted pictures of them getting married. She even wrote a caption. "Something you couldn't have when you were young will ultimately haunt you your whole life. I'm so lucky. I reached out and plucked my first love." She specifically at Demi. "Siakang my blessings." Looking at their wedding photo, I couldn't help but sigh. That's great. After all, trash should go with trash. I replied sincerely below. "Wishing you two a long and happy life together. May you be a happy couple for 100 years. Jenny sent me a private message. "I know you're just jealous, and you're not sincerely wishing us well." I kindly reminded her. "I hope you won't be completely drained by that mother and son." Jenny immediately retorted, "See? I told you you were jealous. And you still deny it. Don't worry, I'll be happier than you." I didn't reply anymore. Good words cannot persuade a person who is determined to die. It's time for him to pay back his debts from his past life. Next, Ethan was busy posting on social media luxury cars and luxury watches. He only showed his face in the pictures, and it was covered with a thick layer of foundation. I guess the dead skin had already spread to his face. Jenny's social media, on the other hand, was very quiet. Even that wedding photo was deleted at some point. I happened to hear someone say that Jenny was suing for divorce just days after getting married. I sneered. No matter how good a first love is, when they turn into a mummy, no one can stand it. I heard Ethan stubbornly refuse to divorce. Mrs. Michael even threatened him with Jenny's private photos. If he kept making trouble, she would post them online. I heard from my dad that Mr. Jenny's previous business partner was a fraudster. He swindled him out of all his savings and even conned him into taking out a 1,000,000 yuan loan. The fraudster then ran off. Yes, in my past life, Mr. Jenny orchestrated the downfall of my family and then personally vetted the business partner. But this time, he was eager to defeat my dad and didn't even thoroughly check his business partner's background. Two desperate people wanted to go back home and sell their house, but their old house had already been seized by the court. As for Jenny's new house, on the day of the wedding, it had already been transferred to Ethan's name. Jenny went home again, wanting to sell the house, but was kicked out. That day, I happened to be selling fruit by the roadside. I saw Mrs. Michael not far away, still cursing. I gave Jenny an apple. Jenny, we're like sisters. Take this bag of apples and eat them. Jenny saw me and was stunned for a moment. Seeing me wrapped in a scarf, rubbing my hands and stomping my feet in the cold wind, her equally miserable situation finally awakened the thin thread of sisterhood that had existed between us for over a decade. From her dim and weary eyes finally flowed tears of remorse, though they were cheap. Luna, I didn't expect you to be doing so badly either. Luna, I was wrong. I shouldn't have listened to Michael's lies and tried to go against you. My family is ruined now. The mother and son have taken over my house and car. Whenever I get a little money, Michael snatches it away. Otherwise, he hits and kicks me. Saying this, Jenny showed me the crooked scars on her hand, sobbing uncontrollably. Why am I so unlucky? When will these hard times end? I breathed warm air into my hands, afraid she would do something drastic. I moved the bag of apples closer to her. Life still has to go on. Jenny, there's always a tomorrow. I specifically emphasized the last sentence. Jenny, who was still full of tears, seemed to realize something. She looked at me intensely. The next second, her eyes turned fierce. She grabbed a fruit knife from my stall and rushed towards the cursing figure. Ah! Only a scream was heard. Mrs. Michael fell to the ground, covered in blood. Everyone scattered. I sighed deeply and slowly packed up the stall I had rented. I took off my headscarf, revealing my chestnut-colored wavy hair that I had already dyed back. I whistled. Buy one, get one free. Ethan, you're next. Since he got his marriage certificate with Jenny, Ethan, whose face was already covered in wrinkles like dried tree bark, didn't dare to go out at all. But now his mom had just died. Jenny was also arrested and sent to jail. Creditors were coming to smash his door every few days. Ethan had no choice but to arm himself to the teeth and sneak out the door like a thief. Of course, I wouldn't let him off easily. I had already bribed someone to watch his movements 24/7. As soon as he went out, that person would notify the creditors. Justice will be served. I just didn't want to indulge deadbeats. We don't do illegal and criminal things. So at 9 p.m., in a corner of the city, Ethan was chased to the rooftop. Why are you guys asking me for money? It was Jenny who borrowed the money, not me. Things have come to this. Ethan was still clinging to the watch in his hand. Yes, because the house and car were seized by the court. The luxury watch on his wrist was the only evidence of Ethan's glorious past. Jenny has already given the police evidence of your domestic violence, illegally taking personal property before marriage, and identity theft for loans. It's come to this point. I don't need to hide anything anymore. I suddenly aimed the camera at my face. Luna, it's you. Are you here for revenge? I smiled at him and didn't deny it. Ethan was agitated. He yelled at me, no. I must be dreaming. In reality, I drive a luxury car and have endless money. The man beside me chuckled. This guy has watched too much TV. He's gone crazy. Hearing the guy next to me, Ethan glared at me fiercely again. The bracelet. Luna, where is the silver bracelet I gave you? I took it out from my pocket and threw it at Ethan's feet. Are you talking about this? As soon as the old beggar's wish was fulfilled, I found a Taoist priest from Maoshan to remove the charm on it. To be on the safe side, the priest melted the silver directly and what I threw to him now was just a fake silver bracelet that cost 20 yuan. But the series of blows he had suffered in recent days, plus the inhumane torment he was currently enduring, had already caused Ethan to have a mental breakdown. Seeing the only thing that could change his fate, Ethan went crazy. He grabbed the silver bracelet and laughed and cried, "Ha ha ha. I want luxury cars and beautiful women. I want endless money. I want to return to reality." Then he jumped. He jumped directly from the rooftop. Everyone looked at each other. The debt collectors looked at each other. What's wrong with this guy? I hadn't even said anything yet. I pointed at the camera above our heads. He's just having a breakdown. The police will clear our names. After saying that, I directly called 911. From then on, there were no more ghosts or spirits in my world. Only effort and sweat. Epilogue. A 23-year-old girl came to apply for a job at our orchard. She also asked me why I helped her. As I peeled fruit, I said casually, "Do you believe in past life retribution? I dreamed that before I died, a beggar tore off his clothes and put them on my face. So I believe he is not a bad person. And I am willing to give him a chance to make a new choice." End.